Welcome back.
Thanks.
I don't have a name for this podcast video thing, so do you have any help? Right now it is the unnamed podcast / video.
It's behind the scenes with Ryan Weber's clients. We'll have to shorten it and spice it up, but that's the description.
But I don't always have my clients on here.
Well, I thought that's what you're going for.
No, just that's extra. You're a bonus.
Oh, I am a bonus.
So this is Sam Green, Buttery Green. Sam Green Buttery. Mm-hmm. Is it actually, did you drop your middle name and you're Sam Green Buttery?
So on my social security card, I'm Samantha Brooke Buttery.
Okay.
On my driver's license, I am still Samantha Brooke Green. On Facebook, I'm Samantha Brooke Buttery. On Instagram, I'm Sam Green. So it's kind of just a mosh posh.
So do you prefer Samantha or Sam?
Sam, because I've always gone by it. But if I'm going to be called Buttery eventually, I'm going to start going by Samantha because Sam Buttery just sounds like a guy. So
I appreciate that.
Can't have that.
I can appreciate that.
You know.
So Sam is... how did we meet? We met way back when you were the fittest person at my gym.
Also the weakest.
Yeah, the fittest person. And you came into the gym and you were looking to not lift many weights.
Yes.
And you were just trying to get through the rest of college, really.
And well, it was actually right before our wedding, too.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
great. So glad you remembered my goals, Ryan.
Well, we were killing it then. But since then, you're married to Ty, who pitches for the Angels.
Some could say that. No,
sometimes he does.
Yes, that's his job title.
But when I met you, he was in like single A, so he was doo-doo back then.
He was pretty far back. He went through every level. So
Yeah.
he was let's see, he was with the Red Sox then in the minor leagues. I'm trying to think what
he went all the way up through Pawtucket.
Whole system, minus the bigs.
He just didn't make it with the Boston Red
he
Sox.
Just skipped that part and then went straight to the Angels.
No. So she married Ty. Once Ty got traded, well, let's go back. When you were in Boston, Pawtucket area up there with him, how'd you get with ESPN?
So we got married. I got engaged my junior year of college. We got married before I graduated, senior year. We just did long distance all 6 years. I kind of did summer classes where I could graduate technically early, but I just finished 2 online courses with him and went to Florida for spring training and then ended up in Pawtucket for the season. Just finished up there, got the ESPN gig. I actually went to a career fair and stood in a 3-hour long line at ESPN. And
somehow they picked you.
They literally picked me, and they called me.
Wow.
The next day, we woke up and we were in an Airbnb in someone's house, like a random person's house, and just woke up to a call, and they were like, "Yeah, can you come work for us?" And I was like, "Sure." And that was located in
why not?
Connecticut,
Yeah.
so it was only I think a 3-hour drive to Pawtucket at the time. So I was like, "Okay, perfect. I'll get an apartment. We'll live here in the off season." He was just gonna keep Airbnb hopping because they travel,
right?
So he was just literally every week getting a new Airbnb, and we were just going to work it out that way. And I was there for 7 months, and then he got traded to the West Coast. And I've always wanted to live in California.
And you said deuces. I don't need you, ESPN.
Yeah, I peaced out. They were great, though. Definitely wouldn't be here without them. They taught me a lot. But just wanted to be with Ty, obviously, and I've always wanted to live in Cali.
So do I.
It was the life.
I just want to be with Ty as well.
Yeah, I bet. I'm just kidding.
So you worked with ESPN, and that's kind of, and in your undergrad, you were a communications major.
With the minor in journalism.
Yeah. So you've always kind of had this passion for, I want to be a broadcaster-ish host, some sort of TV, radio, whatever personality.
Yeah, so I danced for the Hornets. I danced for college. Well, danced my whole life growing up in competition. Danced for college my freshman year. Sophomore year, tried out for the Charlotte Hornets dance team, made the Honeybees. Only did that for a year. Left, interned with a guy that interviewed me while I was with the Honeybees. He liked me and my stuff, so I interned with him for 2 years for just interviewing Hornets and Panthers players, just going home at 1 a.m. and going to class at 8 a.m. just to grind and just doing what I could and eating dinner for free with the Panthers, basically just a college grind job, with no money. But so did that, and then that transitioned me to ESPN. then realized how heavily stats, like sports is so heavily stats related now. And I think that market's like so oversaturated, and living with Ty and seeing all his friends and being there, you know, through spring trainings and like being the only wife in the house with 3 guys, like I just saw that there was so much more to these players than their stats. And
that brings us to where we are today.
And that brings us where we are.
And we got connected, honestly, through social. I mean, we knew each other, but like through social media, she saw.
We're the OGs.
We are the OGs.
Then you met other people.
Right.
And then we rekindled our friendship.
Our friendship was never unkindled. You just moved away.
Put on pause.
Yeah. And so basically you reached out and you were like, hey, I have an idea to be an Instagram host kind of thing. So you wanted to interview athletes and you wanted to do it on Instagram because it's what you use the most.
Right.
And what did I say?
You said, nah, fam, you can't make money yet on Instagram. That's coming soon. But, so you pushed me towards YouTube.
Right. So now what we're doing is we're interviewing athletes through YouTube because what we're trying to do is almost create your own channel, like your own TV show.
Right.
And so you have no regulations. You have no one telling you what you...
Straight freedom.
And that's what we like because we're able to test the waters. We can do some different things and we're not restricted. So kind of what's your goal with this? Like, what are you trying to do? It's so new. I mean, we've literally recorded 10 videos. The first one's going out in 4 days.
You know, we should probably be doing that instead of this, but here we are. No, I think my goal, honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind is just like portraying these athletes like in a fun way. Like, I feel like they're under such hard criticism at all times, like under a microscope, and there's just so much more to them. So I want the world to see that fun side of them, and I want them to be able to have a platform to be able to show themselves to the world as well.
Right.
That's first and foremost. But second of all, like long term, just, you know, like maybe somebody buys me to produce the show, or it turns into, you know, a network liking the idea and buys my idea. I mean, you know, just growing it as we can, but just bottom line, keeping the athletes at the heart of it. Yeah.
So I guess getting started, like you're getting started, you have social media and you've never owned a business, you know, you've never used your social media for business or branding standpoint. It's just like, I posted some fun pictures and you did not post that many pictures.
No.
So what's been the hardest thing kind of getting started? You know, like this is a whole new world for you where you have to have this branding and idea behind it.
Yeah. I think like social media in general is hard now. I mean, a lot of people love it. I in particular don't necessarily love it for leisure,
I hate
enjoyment.
Like
I use it for business purposes.
Like I don't like it either.
Realizing that I have to put out consistent content for my business purposes and for it to be successful, like that's difficult. It's hard to think of original content to put out where you don't look fake, you know, it's not oversaturated of what everybody else is posting and standing out on social media. I mean, it's a whole new world and we're just diving into that. Like we're just on the brink of it. So figuring out what works and what doesn't is like really hard.
Yeah. And so I think a big thing that we've kind of had a hurdle of, and it's because you guys are so excited, is the focus. And it's really hard for people getting started because you have all these huge ideas and you hear all of these other influencers that have millions of followers and they're like, well, you need to be over here and over here and over here. And I was always just like,
chill,
just focus. Like we will do all of that, but let's get really good at one thing.
The options are endless with this, and because it's not out there. I mean, really, there's a couple media outlets doing this maybe. So the options are endless. So it's like hard to slow your brain down and like step out from the outside from your own company. Like I am my own business. Like I'm the heart of it and I come up with everything. I come up with the content. So it's sometimes hard to be like that outside perspective. So that's where like you come into play. Like I feel no matter how successful you are, you always need somebody on the outside.
It's the sounding board.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for business owners because you're the owner. Like everyone looks to you. So who do you go to when you have an idea? Generally you don't. And so finding like that support crew is really, really important.
Well, and unbiased too. You know, I mean, it's hard to not get your emotions involved when like, this is your baby. Like this is what I'm doing. Like I set my life aside from ESPN and all that, like just to create this. So it's hard to not like have an emotional attachment with your ideas and be like, oh my goodness, like this wasn't a good idea. Like this is what, you know, so it's hard to put your emotions aside, but it's important if you want to run a business.
So I guess, I like to keep these kind of short. So what would you give advice if somebody is getting started and you're, like we say, you're fresh. So you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So getting started, what's something that you wish you could have done if you were redoing it from scratch again, where you're like, well, I think I messed up here. I wish I would have done this different.
I'd say just starting out, like really solidifying a plan, but it's so hard with media because you don't know what works until you just dive in. I think the most important thing is just like finding that outsource unbiased opinion immediately. Mm-hmm. Like I've had this idea for over a year and a half, but it took me a year and a half, 2 years to find you to be able to get this thing really off the ground and running.
Right.
So I think finding somebody faster and
it's really someone to kick you in the ass and say, go. Like your ideas, every idea you've had is really good. Thanks. But we just need you to do it. Right. That's the thing. And so, getting somebody to help you get over that fear of like, well, what am I going to look like? What am I going to sound like? How am I going to record it? How am I going to post it? Well, just do it.
And I think hiring somebody so that you can focus on your main job is important. Like if I didn't have you, I'd be worrying about editing. I'd be worried about filming. And like I can't do a one-man shop and make it successful off the bat.
You can get there down the road. Like I know you're going to want to learn how to do every single thing that it is. Like you're going to
job of my own business.
You're going to want to know how to record. You're going to want to look at my cameras and say, well, if I want to record something on my own, what do I need to do? What are the settings and how do I edit it? But that's probably not the best use of your time right now. So that's really smart for somebody, especially your age, kind of having that self-realization of let me stay in my lane so other people can be good at what they do.
That's a good summary. Thank you.
Good job.
Compliment.
Good for you.
Thanks,
so where are people going to find you?
You are mainly going to find me on YouTube, which we have our own custom URL now since we have enough subscribers.
Look here. You have the most subscribers from any of my clients, and you've literally put out 0 videos.
I'm honored. Thanks.
So good for you.
Thank you. But you can find us at youtube.com/SamGreenBTL. That's our YouTube. My Instagram name's basically the same thing, Sam Green BTL. So those are the 2 main locations.
Yeah, lots of good information, lots of good content, tons of fun interviews with athletes and, really influencers as well. Mm-hmm. Trying to get to know these people on a personal level.
Yeah, check it out.
Can't wait. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Rye.